On the 115th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about Russell Wilson retiring. The NBA and NHL Finals continue. We have some injuries in the MLB, and then we're ranking the top 5 longest home runs since 2015. Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports when checking out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. We are here with another episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, episode 152. This is my first time filming since Russell Wilson announced his retirement. Now, I'm a huge diehard Seahawks fan. I became a Seahawks fan around 2017. I didn't have a team. I didn't have an NFL team to root for, and I kind of just picked a random one. I like the Seahawks colors, and that's kind of how it initially started. And then, I looked into Russell Wilson. I loved Russell Wilson, what he was doing with the Seahawks. Legion of Boom was still kind of a thing at the time. And then, it's history from there. But Russell Wilson, over the last few years, especially since this podcast has been around, I haven't talked very highly of him. Just because he was with the Giants and Steelers, and what other team was he on? He was on Giants, Steelers, and actually, there was a third team. What other team was he on? He was on the Broncos. Yeah, he was on the Broncos, Giants, and Steelers later in his career. So since this podcast has been around, I haven't really talked highly of Russell Wilson, but he is one of my, if not my favorite all-time NFL player. He's an absolute legend in my heart. He was my first favorite football player, and he helped me, he was a big reason why I'm a Seahawks fan. So, yeah, so again, like I said, around 2017-ish, I started liking the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, and he just announced his retirement. 14 seasons in the NFL. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler. He was drafted in the 3rd round in 2012 from the Seahawks out of Wisconsin. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. I know some people are questioning it, or some people were a few years ago. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer, hands down. Gonna be a Hall of Famer. His career stats: he had almost 47,000 passing yards with over 350 touchdowns. He joins Peyton Manning and Dan Marino as the only quarterbacks with 20-plus touchdown passes in each of their first 3 seasons. He's also a Super Bowl champion. He won the 2015 Super Bowl. Yeah, he's, where's it at? It was kind of questionable how his career was going to end. He was considering backing up Geno Smith with the Jets before choosing CBS. So if you guys haven't heard, he's going to be an analyst with CBS, taking Matt Ryan's place on the CBS pregame show, which is cool. I mean, we're seeing it more common than ever now of guys that are just retiring, like Tom Brady, for example, going into broadcasting and analysts and stuff like that. So I think he'll do great there. I think he's great. He was great with the press in general. He's a great speaker, and he knows a lot about the game. I know a lot of people were kind of questionable with Russell Wilson about his career. He's not ready. He's too small. He was never fit for the job. Hey, you could say all that stuff. He's a Hall of Famer. He spent 14 seasons in the NFL, future Hall of Famer. And yeah, he's a big part of why I'm a Seahawks fan now. So I will forever love Russell Wilson, even if I haven't said the nicest things about him in the last few seasons. But it was just because we didn't have him. I wish he finished out his career with Seattle, but I get it. The NFL is a business, and you got to go where the money goes. And people like people, and other people don't like other people in these organizations. But I'm excited to see him working with CBS Sports, and I hope he does great there. All right, now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about the real big news of the week. The NBA Finals are off, and the Knicks are already up 2-0. Now, as you guys saw last week, I am becoming a Knicks fan just for this week. It's not a permanent thing. I love the story of Jalen Brunson. I love the story of the Knicks, how they built their team around Jalen Brunson. I love the city of New York, one of my favorite places in the entire world. And for them to be up 2-0 against the San Antonio Spurs and the Victor Wembanyama is big. The Spurs were heavy favorites going into the NBA Finals. And they played the first 2 games in San Antonio, and San Antonio lost both of the first 2 games, which is wild. You cannot do that. In the NBA Finals, you have to take advantage of the home games, and it's going to come to bite them. I mean, being down 2-0 is not fun. You have to win 4 of the next 5 games. Yeah, you got to win 4 of the next 5 games. The Spurs, they can do it. The series isn't over yet, but it's going to have to go to Game 7. There's no shot that the Spurs can win 4 in a row against what the Knicks have done. And these have been close games. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the Knicks weren't so much better than the Spurs in the first 2 games. The last game, Game 2, ended 105-104, and Victor Wembanyama, like, he could have won the game for the Spurs. It was really close. Game 3 is on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's in New York. That's what's interesting. It's in New York. So like I kind of said last week on the podcast, New York sports have a ton of teams, and usually it's the New York Yankees go with the New York Football Giants. That's just like that's just the package that it comes in. And then in Queens you have the Mets, who are usually the Jets fans. That's just how it usually goes, usually for the most part. But the Knicks, the entire city loves the Knicks. And the Knicks, they love Jalen Brunson. They love the Knicks. New York City is going to burn up in flames if they win Game 3 and Game 4. If they can win Game 4, if they can sweep the Spurs in 4 in New York City, I think New York City's population, like, it goes up to like 15 million people and then drops down to 2 million people because that city is going to be burning on fire. New York City, I want to go to New York City so bad for Game 4 if they win Game 3. I love the energy of Knicks fans. Seeing videos from New York City, Times Square, MSG, it's just absolutely insane. I love what these fans have for the Knicks. I love what the Knicks have and how they're competing. Nobody expected. When the Spurs won, it was whoever won the Thunder Spurs. That's what it was going into the conference finals. It's like, hey, whoever wins this side of the bracket is going to win it all. Like, that's just how it is. And now, the Knicks, the New York Knicks, giving the Spurs a run for their money. Yeah. But in Game 2, like I said, it was close. The final score was 105-104. Cat led the Knicks with 21 points. Wemby had 29. And the Knicks haven't lost in like 45 days. Knicks are on fire right now. And I always think, man, this doesn't happen so much in basketball, but a lot in baseball. Like, hey, a lot of rest sometimes hurt, but not in basketball. This helps a lot in basketball, and this is helping the Knicks a lot. They're shooting 50.3% and holding opponents to just 100.5 points per game in their last 10 games. Knicks are on fire. It's exciting. It's exciting to see what the Knicks have. The Spurs are 5-5 in the last 10 games. Not good for the playoffs. 5-5. Obviously, they lost the last 2 games, but the Spurs. Everybody was high on the Spurs. It's not looking good for the Spurs. Not looking good for Wemby. It's exciting. It's really exciting. Jalen Brunson is averaging 26 points and 6.8 assists for New York, and Wemby is averaging 25 points, 11.5 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and 3.1 blocks per game. Wemby is an incredible player. I mean, generational player for his 3rd year in the NBA. He's been absolutely on fire all season. But when it comes to the finals, you can't have Cat do this to you. You can't have the Knicks make you look like a fool of yourself. You have to be able to produce points and produce wins in high intensity situations. Because now you're headed to New York. They're not going to let the Spurs bust out. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't care how many NYPD, Secret Service, we'll talk about Secret Service, National Guard here in a second here, but it doesn't matter how much security they have. The Spurs getting back to their hotel if the Knicks win Game 3 from MSG, impossible. I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to block off roads. It doesn't matter. New Yorkers are crazy. I love them. I love New York. I can't say that enough. New Yorkers are crazy. I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't put it against them. Just put some mattresses on the court and have a huge sleepover. Because for the Spurs to leave the MSG, if they're down 3-0, somebody's going to die. I hate to say that. It's just going to happen. There's 8 million people in New York. all surrounding MSG. They're only going to allow, 40,000 people in the stadium? There's going to be 8 million people surrounding Madison Square Garden on Monday night, especially if the Knicks win. It's insane. Right now, New York doesn't have any injuries, which is helping them a lot in their 2-0 advantage, in their 2-0 lead right now. But the Spurs are missing David Jones-Garcia for the season. He has that ankle injury. Now, I'm not the one to make excuses, but you could argue that if he was playing in these two close games that they would have won. You could argue that. There's always the what if. There's always the butterfly effect. I hate playing those games. But, New York doesn't have any serious injuries. The Spurs do. It's not an excuse for the Spurs. It's just something to kind of note. But this is Game 3, must-win game for the Spurs. Must win. You go down 3-0, there's not coming back. You're not coming back 3-0. Game 4 is also in New York. Then you got to do the switch. You got to go San Antonio to New York to San Antonio. You have to win Game 3. This game is the most important game for the Spurs. You can come back down 2-0. You can go 2-1, tied up 2-2. Even if it's 2-1, 3-1, like you hate to see it like that, but 3-0, you're not coming back from that. And New York City's going to be lit up on fire. Like, New York City's going down in flames. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what New York City's going to do about it, because you can't stop 8 million people. There's 8 million people in New York City. There's going to be 2 million. There's going to be 2 million people watching the game, watching these games, running the streets. I mean, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. I'm like trying to think of the streets around MSG. I went last year. The streets are going to be flooded. There's not going to be room for cars. The subways are going to be packed. Oh, there's going to be people dead in subways. Like, New York City is an insane place. I'm just trying to picture what happens to New York City if the Knicks go up 3-0. It's going to be incredible. Right now, the cheapest ticket in Madison Square Garden is $10,000 for Game 3. That's not including concessions. That's the nosebleeds. The nosebleeds in MSG, which is a mile high and a mile back. I mean, you might as well just watch it on the projector on the side of the New York City building. I mean, $10,000 to get nosebleeds where you're not even going to know which player is which. Insane. I'm excited, though. I'm excited to see what happens. I gotta preface this post by saying this is not a political post. I gotta preface this by saying this, but Trump is planning on attending Game 3 of the NBA Finals. This is not going to work out good for him. There are 8 million people in New York City. Like I said, around 2 million people are going to be running the streets, storming the streets, lighting the streets on fire in New York City. It doesn't matter how much National Guards you have, how many National Guard guys you have. It doesn't matter how many NYPD police you have. It doesn't matter the Secret Service. The Knicks are telling fans to show up to the stadium at least 2 hours before so they can go through TSA checks and everything like that to get into the stadium. What happens inside the stadium is not what the Secret Service and Trump should be worried about. It's what happens when he has to leave the stadium and go back to D.C. Objectively, again, not a political post at all. I know what a lot of people are going to start saying. It's not a political post at all. Objectively, New York City, New Yorkers aren't a fan of Trump. Objectively speaking. I mean, that's just a known fact. What happens when there's 2 million people surrounding Madison Square Garden, and let's say you have 5,000 security guards? You're losing that fight. So unless they have a helicopter on top of the MSG, I don't know what Trump's going to do. Because if the Knicks win Game 3, Trump's not getting out of MSG. I don't know how they plan on doing this. Again, the Secret Service is all like, make sure you show up 2 hours before the game just so you can get into the stadium because we're doing screen checks and all that. It's not what happens in the stadium. Nothing's going to happen in the stadium. It's what happens outside of the stadium with New Yorkers surrounding Madison Square Garden. That's what you got to worry about. But yeah, the Knicks, I so hope they go up 3-0. I want to see what happens to New York if the Knicks go up 3-0. And if the Knicks sweep, I want a ticket to New York. Let's look up what are tickets in price of one-way tickets to JFK on Wednesday. As low as $59. $59. I don't need a hotel room in New York City. I just need a one-way ticket to New York City, and I just want to experience. I don't want to go to the game. I want to watch the game. Don't get me wrong. I want to watch the game in New York. But I just want to see what the streets are like. I want to see what the streets are like in New York. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens in New York. I'm excited to see the Knicks. I'm excited to see Brunson. I want to see Brunson win the finals. I would like to see Victor Wembanyama win a finals at some point in his career, but right now I'm rooting for the Knicks. The Spurs were the worst team in the league 3 years ago. They need some time. Like they can't go from worst team in the league to best team in the league in 3 years. That's just we're not trying to do that. Later in his career, next year after, I would love to see at some point Wemby win a finals. I want to see the Knicks win it, and I want to see it in New York. I want to see OG. I want to see Cat. I want to see Brunson. I want to see all of them. I want to see New York have a banner. First time since 1999. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this. Now let's check out our TikTok live. Is anybody on TikTok live? Rip Stacey King. Yeah, that just happened. On the TikTok live. If you guys are watching on the TikTok live, make sure to follow if you have not already. We're here filming episode 152 of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Like I said, Mr. Me 9900 whatever. Rest in peace, Stacey King. Yeah, that was sad to hear. 59 years old. What else we got? All right, let's move on to the NHL Finals. Game 3 of the NHL Finals was a doozy. That was a wild game. The Golden Knights ended up beating the Hurricanes in Game 3 on an own goal. They won 5-4 in double OT. The Knights now take a 2-1 series lead. Shea Theodore gets credit for the OT winner on a wild play. It was a crazy play, and if the Hurricanes lose this series in the Stanley Cup, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for the Hurricanes. But Theodore, it was a ball. He shot the puck, and it bounced off of the Carolina guy who accidentally banked it off of his own goalie skate for the own goal to win in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That's crazy. That was the best hockey game I have ever watched in my life. The best. Single-handedly the best hockey game I've watched in my life. Double overtime. They were down 0-4. Mitch Marner had the fastest hat trick in Stanley Cup history in the second period. He had 4 points overall in the period. And the last player to have 4 points in a period in the Cup final was in 1919. That's when that's the whole White Sox scandal happened in 1919 when they lost on purpose. History. Last night's game was history. That's going down in the history books. The greatest hockey game I have ever watched in my life. Vegas blew, like I said, a 4-0 lead. They were up 4-0. They blew it. Carolina scored 3 goals in 39 seconds in the third period, and then they tied it on a 6-on-4 power play with a minute 42 left. Carolina has been 6-0 in overtime all season. This postseason. In overtime, they have not lost. But Vegas just snapped the streak in a wild game. So here's a stat. The teams that are up 2-1 in the finals have gone on to win the cup 80.7% of the time. That's great news for the Knights, not so much for the Hurricanes. You know, it's the best of 7. It's the best out of 7. The Hurricanes have I'm not going to say statistically. In the past, using past stats, the Hurricanes have a 20% chance at winning it all. That's not good. On a game where they should have won, on a game where they were up 4-0, and the Knights ended up scoring 3 goals in 39 seconds. It's fun. Carolina switched goalies in the third period. They replaced Bussy with Anderson, and who gave up all 4 of the goals. So if they didn't switch the goalies, I think that the Hurricanes are up 2-1 now, and that's where the stat switches, and the Knights would have a 20% chance at winning it all now. That's how crazy this game was. Carter Hart stopped 29 shots last night for the win. That's incredible. It was an incredible all-around game. It was incredible game for the Knights. And again, like I said, the greatest hockey game I have ever watched in my life. Game 4 is on Tuesday night. It's in Las Vegas. That is going to be a must-watch game. If the Hurricanes can come back and tie the series up, they have a shot. If not, Hurricane season is over. I hate to break it to you. I hate to pull you guys short. It's just what's going to happen. All right, now enough with the finals and stuff. Let's talk about baseball. The MLB. Aaron Judge has a stress fracture in his right rib. He decided to keep playing with it, and it made it worse, and now he's out for at least 6 weeks. Yankees fans are crying right now. We can look up right here. The Yankees are 1 game behind the Rays. They need to come in clutch. The Yankees need to do something. They're beating each other down. They're just beating each other down right now. They're both incredible teams right now. But without Aaron Judge, the Yankees are going to drop. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to drop below the Orioles. The Orioles are still 7 games behind the Yankees. But Yankees losing Aaron Judge is brutal. It's horrible. He's expected to return this season, but he's going to miss, like I said, at least 6 weeks. He has re-imaging in 4 to 6 weeks to determine next steps. And that's re-imaging. That doesn't mean he's fully healthy. I mean, it's minimum 6 weeks till he's fully healthy. I mean, we're talking he's going to miss 40 games this season. What is that, a quarter of a season? I don't know. Statistically, the Yankees without Aaron Judge isn't very good. So what happened is he crashed into a wall on May 3rd. Again, this is May, June. Over a month ago. Sorry. This happened on April 26th. I got the dates mixed up. On April 26th, over a month ago, Aaron Judge had like a diving catch against the Astros and dove into the wall on April 6th. He was hurting, but he still wanted to play through the injuries. He says that this is what they pay him for. And then he crashed into the wall on May 3rd against the Orioles just a week later, which made it so much worse. It made the injury a lot worse. And he played through the pain for over a month before he says that it was unbearable in Sacramento. They were playing the A's, and he said that the pain was just unbearable, like he had to get it checked out, like he was trying to toughen through it, which I get it. Like, you don't want to sound like that guy, like, oh, I'm hurt, I can't play, but he's the best guy on the Yankees. Like, you can't really just sit out. So he says, Aaron Judge says that you got to be out there. That's what they're paying me to do, which I get it. Like, you're getting paid millions of dollars. Like, you can't make an excuse not to play. But it's going to hurt the Yankees more that he played more. If he got just checked out after the Astros game, he may have already been back by now, but now it's a lot worse. He's right now so far this season, he's batting .275 with 16 home runs, over a 1 OPS. This is through I got all these stats mixed up. So from the beginning of the season to May 12th, he was batting .275 with 16 home runs with 1.047 OPS. That is through May 12th. Now, after May 12th, since then, he's been batting .180 with only 1 home run, a .550 OPS, and 16 games, and the 16 games after. So it's obviously hurting him. Statistically, physically, and I'm sure mentally. Like, it's got to hurt. Yeah, and Yankees are horrible without Judge. The Yankees have gone 8 games under 500 without Judge since 2020, and his absence, like, it just absolutely kills him. Every single time he's out for whether it's a week, a month, a few days, like, they just suck. The Yankees just suck since when they don't have Judge playing. Spencer Jones is the Yankees' number 5 prospect right now. He was called up to replace him, and then Stanton and Jason Dominguez are both working their way back from injury to try to help, like, back up Judge, so they have at least a few stars on the field, and they can hopefully win into a winning division, to win the division, because the Rays, last year, they sucked, and this year, they're one of the best teams in the league, and the Yankees are a game back behind them. The Yankees GM, Brian Cashman, said that playing through it was probably made it worse, but Judge said he has no regrets. You can't blame Judge for playing. Like he's just doing his hardest. Like he's a competitor. He's trying to win, and I don't know. He just doesn't want to sound like a baby. That's all. Like you can't blame him. So it did probably make it worse. He would probably already been back from injury, but again, we're not going to play that what if butterfly effect. You never know what would happen. But yeah, he's going to be out for at least 6 weeks. It's the same spot. It's like the same area in his right rib when he fractured his rib, or he had like the partially collapsed lung. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. In 2019, he had the collapsed lung injury kind of thing. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. It's just something I kind of noticed. I wasn't sure if it might have zero correlation. It's just something I noticed. And then the Dodgers. The Dodgers put Tyler Glasnow on the 60-day IL. Dodgers pitchers absolutely on fire right now. The other half of the Dodgers pitching rotation injured. They're just laying in hospitals right now. Tyler Glasnow moved to the 60-day IL with his back injury. The earliest return he can come back is July 6th. I mean, that is a month from now. He's been out since May 8th. He had the back spasm issue, and it was supposed to be like a short absence. He was supposed to only be out for a couple days, maybe a week or two. No, now he's on the 60-day IL. He still hasn't been cleared for a throwing program, which as a pitcher, you can't just come back from injury and just start pitching in the MLB again. You need a throwing program. Then you're going to have assignments in AA and AAA and come back up. It's a long process, which the Dodgers need to figure out how to speed up because we need Glasnow. Luckily, all of our Japanese pitchers that stay healthy, they're on fire right now. I mean, absolutely insane. Dodgers pitchers have been absolutely insane these last few weeks. Dave Roberts said that the doctors just are not allowing for it. The doctors just are not allowing for it, and the body is not allowing for it. They're not allowing him to pitch. I want him to come back. But at the same time, I'm thinking, like, get the injuries out of the way now. The Dodgers are going to have a tough postseason if the Braves keep keeping this up. So get rid of the injuries now. Have your injuries now. Get healthy. Get rehab. Whatever you got to do it now. And then in a few months, then that's when it's go time. The Dodgers added Nick Frezzo to the 40-man roster for depth, but he is staying in AAA for now. They're not going to bring him up yet. Dodgers have plenty of pitchers. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars on pitchers. They're good for pitching right now. Oh, hold up. Somebody just collapsed on the field in the Denmark's game. That's not good. Just before the World Cup. I don't have the game on, do I? That's not good at all. But yeah, back to Glasnow. Yeah, Blake Snell and Edwin Diaz are also big guys on the Dodgers who are on the IL. Get healthy now. Get healthy now because it's go time when it comes to August, September, October. Even if the Padres start to pick it up again, like you just need to be ready the last few months of the season, and then obviously postseason because the Dodgers are going for that 3-peat. So yeah, Dodgers pitchers though. Big shout out to Dodgers pitchers. We gotta talk about the Dodgers pitching real quick. And Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani isn't getting enough love, I feel like. Everybody's always like, he's overglazed, he's overhyped. No, Shohei Ohtani has a .74 ERA right now. It's not even on my paper. Shohei Ohtani's incredible right now, and nobody's talking about him. You're just numb to Shohei Ohtani. Every baseball fan is just numb to Shohei Ohtani right now. They're just not reacting to him. He's having one of the greatest pitching seasons ever, and he's hitting home runs in the same game. For the guys that are saying that Shohei Ohtani isn't the GOAT, which I think that Barry Bonds is the greatest offensive player of all time. I think that's fair to say. I think Shohei Ohtani is the greatest overall baseball player of all time. When else have you seen a pitcher hit home runs? When else have you seen a pitcher who has a .74 ERA in June go 50-50 2 seasons ago? Wild! Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of all time, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. We're numb to it. We're numb to Shohei Ohtani. Guess what? In 10 years, he's not going to be in the league. People are going to be like, oh, I miss Shohei Ohtani. No, love him now. Nobody's talking about him anymore because we're numb to him. We're numb to the greatness that he has bestowed upon us. Again, that wasn't even on what I was going to talk about today, but nobody's talking about Shohei. He's going to win Cy Young. It's Skubal or Skeens. Who's going to win Cy Young? Skubal, Skeens, all that stuff. Besides Skubal and Skeens, who's the best pitcher in the MLB? Shohei Ohtani's the best pitcher in the league right now. He is. You can't argue that. He threw 7 no-hit innings last week. Sure, he gave up a run from the walks and stuff, but still. He's incredible. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest. I can argue Shohei Ohtani is the best pitcher in the league right now. And I know, ERA isn't the only stat for pitchers. It's the most important. You need the lowest run average. That's the job of a pitcher. Anyway, let's move on to the top 5 longest home runs since 2015. So StatCast was adapted into the MLB, and that's where we get all of our measurement stats from. That's ABS is a large part of StatCast. Measurement of home runs, launch angles, basically all that measurement kind of stuff comes from StatCast. That was implemented into the MLB in 2015. So since then, the 5th longest home run was Miguel Sano. He was playing with the Twins at the time. This was in 2019. He hit a ball against the White Sox 496 feet. Now, at the time, looking at the game, nobody really said anything about it. But then when you put it in perspective of the last 11 seasons, it is the 5th longest home run. Wow. Number 4, you have Christian Yelich. He was with the Brewers at this time. This was just a few years ago in 2022. He was playing the Rockies. I believe it was in Colorado, so there's a little bit of a cheat thing. On this list, there are two guys that it was against the Rockies, and I'm pretty sure was in Colorado. But Christian Yelich, 499. Christian Yelich has not hit a 500-foot home run in his career yet. 499 is incredibly far, though. Think about a football field and a half. Hitting a home run that far. Wild. 4th longest home run in the StatCast era. At number 3, making podium, you have Giancarlo Stanton with the Miami Marlins. Like I said, this was in 2016, so this was when StatCast was first being introduced. They weren't sure if they could measure this ball. They weren't sure if this was going to measure. I'm pretty sure it was in Colorado. I could be wrong though. This was the year. This was when Giancarlo Stanton was in his prime though. He hit a ball 504 feet in 2016. In that year, he was in the Home Run Derby that year. He hit. I'm not sure how many of you guys have been to Lone Depot Park, the Marlins Stadium. He hit the glass, the windows in the Home Run Derby. That's not supposed to be possible. So they have space engineers working on it, and they had to reevaluate with them. Hey, do we need to extend this building because we can't have windows breaking in left field? I mean, 504 feet. This was in the All-Star, or this was in the Home Run Derby, so this was a different time. But Giancarlo Stanton is. I'm still not convinced that he's not on steroids. I'm not sure how a man can look like that naturally. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying. He's incredibly jacked. I'm just saying that. Not in a weird way. Not in a weird way. Number 2, runner-up. Last guy I expected. CJ Cron. CJ Cron for the Rockies. This game was also in Colorado, so there's not an asterisk there. It's just weather. The weather there. The very thin air makes balls travel a little further. But CJ Cron hit a 504-foot home run for the Rockies. This was against the Diamondbacks in 2022. It's funny. The Milwaukee Brewers, September. Christian Yelich hit the 4th longest home run on September 6, 2022. 3 days later was the 2nd longest home run in the StatCast era. CJ Cron in the same stadium. Just 3 days apart. We've had 11 years. 3 days apart were the 2 and 4 longest home runs in the StatCast era. That's a fun fact. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that till I just saw it right now. But yeah, CJ Cron, last guy I expected. But hey, he did it. He has the 2nd longest home run in the StatCast era. And then number 1, Nomar Mazara for the Texas Rangers. They were playing the White Sox. This was back in 2019 in the hot summer of June 21st, 2019, right before COVID. He had a home run 505 feet long. This was another one. You could kind of hear the announcers say it. They weren't sure if it was going to track that far. Nuke into left field. An absolute monster shot. Yeah, those are the top 5 longest home runs in the StatCast era, though. Let's move on to the MLB standings. We're going to make this somewhat quick. Well, let's start off with the AL East. Like I said, the Rays are up a game against the Yankees. Yankees without Aaron Judge. They're going to drop a few games, but luckily they have 7 games in between the Orioles. You have the American League Central. They've dropped a little. The Tigers. Big name in the MLB right now, and it's because of Tarek Skubal. Is he going to go to the Yankees? Is he going to go to the Dodgers? Dodgers. They were supposed to give him the winter meetings. They never ended up getting him. They can get him a lot cheaper now. But the Dodgers have the best farm system in the MLB, and I'm just saying, you have a lot of guys you can trade for Skubal. I'm just saying, Skubal, you were born in Southern California. You grew up there. You know where home is. But yeah, the Guardians lead that by 2 games. The White Sox, only 2 games back. The White Sox, 34-30. Good for them. Good for the White Sox. We love teams that come back. Then the Royals, 10.5 games. The Royals and Tigers are tied 10.5 games behind the Guardians. In the AL West, the worst division, there's only one team above 500, and it's the Mariners. They still even suck. They are 34-31. Behind them, 2.5 games behind them, is the Rangers. A game behind that is the Athletics. A game behind that is the Trastros. The Astros are 30-36, 66 games into the season. What happens? They'll come back. Mark my words. They'll come back. The Astros, they'll be fine. Everybody's all worried. The AL Central is a strong team, so there's not going to be a whole lot of teams in the AL West to make the playoffs. The Astros will be fine. I think the Astros come back and win the division. They're only 4.5 games back. We still got 100 games left into the season. They're fine. And then the Angels are 5.5 games behind the Astros. Angels lost cause. Bye. They gave up 9 runs against the Dodgers last night. The Dodgers won 9-1 in the first inning last night. Shohei Ohtani hit a home run. Andy Pages is the 2-hole. Andy Pages also hit a home run. It wasn't back-to-back. They went through the entire lineup, back to Shohei, back to Pages, and Pages hit a nuke. They're up by 9 runs in the first inning. The Angels just suck. The Angels are atrocious. In the National League, you have the NL East. Pretty strong division here. The Braves, you got to start slowing down, Braves. You got to start. For Dodger fans' sake, we're making history. We're trying to three-peat here. The Braves are not going to make it easy for us. I'm hoping. In seasons past, this is about the time where the Braves start to slow down. They start going to bad. But they're 9.5 games up against the Phillies. 65 games into the season. Not looking good for other NL East teams, and not looking good for the Dodgers. Phillies, 9 games behind that. Nationals, 11 games back. The Mets, though, second highest payroll in the MLB. I say it every podcast. 15.5 games back. Don't even have 30 wins, and it's June 7th. Disappointing. Very disappointing. I hate to be a Mets fan right now. I would absolutely hate to be a Mets fan. And that's just what you got to deal with. The Mets are going to have their highs and lows in their franchise. The NL Central. Pretty strong division here, too, actually. The Brewers. The Brewers are 39-23. Are the Brewers the best team in the league right now? No, not with the Braves. I forgot about the Braves. No, the Brewers aren't even close, actually. Brewers are up there, though. 5 games ahead of the Cardinals. The Reds are last in that division. Reds have no chance. Cubs and Pirates might be able to sneak their way into the playoffs, but we still have 100 games left. We'll wait a couple months to see what the Cubs and Pirates can do, but it's not looking optimistic for the Cubs. And then the best division in the league. Actually, I take that back. It's not. But the Dodgers, the NL West. The Dodgers are up 8 games against the Padres. The Padres suck. That's just what it is. Everybody at the beginning of the season, the Padres are first in the division against the Dodgers. We were like 2 weeks into the season. Now look at them. Less than a month ago, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to the Padres fan who was talking all this trash about the Padres being neck and neck with the Dodgers. I told him. I said, hey, I'll talk to you in October. I didn't need October. I needed 2 weeks. We're just getting into June. You guys ready to start talking again? Are we? Diamondbacks, half game behind that. I love that the Padres and Diamondbacks are going to try to fight with each other. I love that. They're just going to tear each other down. Giants are 16 games back in Rockies. Again, I said this last podcast, so I'm going to say it again because I might clip it this time. But the Rockies, if the Rockies didn't play for a month, nobody would notice. A team would have an extra like 3 days off, and sure, those fans would notice like, hey, we have 4 days off. Like, what are we doing? If the Rockies didn't play a game for a month, nobody would notice. You can't convince me otherwise. Nobody would notice. But yeah, and then let's talk about the ABS. ABS is taking over MLB. Right now, we have just under 4,000 taps on the head. 53% of those calls have been overturned. Just over 2,000 batters having a 46% overturn success rate. They've tapped the head 1,800 times. 850 of them have been overturned. Fielders, catchers mainly. Catchers have a 59% overturn rate. These stats don't show everything. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Anything above 1% is helping MLB. If we have 1% of 4,000 attempts, we have 40 overturned calls in a season. That's better than what we had last season. And later in the game, like in the Dodger game last night, the batters for the Angels, there was a batter. He tapped his head. It was the ninth inning. They were down by 8. It was the 9 hole. He tapped his head. That shouldn't go against the percentages. Now, sure, the percentages isn't like, it's not going towards a record or anything like that. It's just something cool that I like to look at. But batters, and I guess everybody in general, towards the ninth inning, you're going to start seeing lower overturn rate just because if you don't use them, you lose them. You might as well use them, especially in the ninth inning. Catchers are at a 59% overturn rate. Over 2,000 attempts, over 1,200 have been overturned. Pitchers, we're averaging about 1 tap on the head a day with 85 attempts. It's actually lower later in the season now, but they've tapped their head 85 times. Only 29 have been overturned for a 34% overturn rate. All right, let me talk about Gamby. If you guys haven't seen on TikTok and Instagram, I got a new page, Isaiah underscore Gamby1. I basically every day it's a quick TikTok. I'm working with Gamby. Quick short form content on the biggest stories. We're trying to push out World Cup content. Gamby is a sports prediction app that you guys can download now. They have a World Cup bracket challenge that you can compete in, and Gamby is giving away $500,000 for a perfect bracket. You can win up to $10,000 in Gamby. All you gotta do, download the app, go follow me, Isaiah underscore Gamby1. I just basically give the biggest stories. A lot of it has been soccer so far. We got some NBA Finals stuff going up. I love working with these guys. But just make sure to follow on Instagram and TikTok, Isaiah underscore Gamby1. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, go download Gamby today. And with that is going to do it for the 152nd episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Thank you all for joining in. You can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your Amazon, Alexa, Podbean. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Go shop at HatTrickSports.com for the best merch around. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 153.